you will encounter many mistakes and you will have to redo certain things. And this is not because of anything that you've got control over. It is the contractors that we trust, that we expect to do a professional job, worthy of the amount of money that they require. I think I've mentioned in the videos in the past that we've had to redo certain things, and I'm going to discuss what they were, what we did, and possibly give you figures of how much it ended up costing us to redo some of the mistakes that our contractors had done. Now, guys, at the end of the day, whether you choose to find an individual to do a particular job for you, or you choose a company, it's all the same. They all make mistakes, and some of the mistakes are costly. Good providers or good contractors will come and fix the mistakes without any charge. However, once you pay someone, they don't feel obliged to come and correct their mistakes. And so that is really, really sad, because most of the time you find, if you say to a contractor, or if they see a number, maybe you're from the UK, Australia, America, they're going to charge you a lot of money that they probably wouldn't necessarily charge local customers, which is not fair, but it is what it is. So guys, without taking so much of your time, because I know some people hate this chit chat business. Now, if you are in my circle, you probably have heard me talk about this one, the pillars. Now, when we were building our house, we decided that we didn't want a double-story house because this was going to be retirement. We were not keen to be going up the stairs. Guys, I hate stairs. This house is 3 floors. I'm on the 3rd floor. I don't come here so often, even though my clothes are in this room, but I rarely come up here. I can't stand it. So we decided that we didn't want stairs. So because of that, we wanted to make sure that one of the features for the house would be like, like that grand entrance, so that it wouldn't just be, just an ordinary entrance. So we decided to have these tall pillars. I think they're about 5 meters or 4.5 meters. I can't remember, but I will definitely give you the correct height of the pillars. Now, when our construction started, they started with the foundation. Everything was going well, and I kept on saying, pillars, when are you going to start the pillars? And they were like, oh, we'll start the pillars later, once we've got to window level, or something along those lines. And so I was so excited about these pillars, and I think anyone that knew me, I would talk so much about these particular pillars. Anyway, things went wrong when they started the pillars. Number one, we had a project manager at the time, and the project manager was also an engineer. So he decided that actually these pillars would not be brick and mortar. He wanted them to be steel and mortar. So basically, he decided to do steel and concrete instead of just brickwork. Basically, our builder didn't tell us that he couldn't do this. Our builder didn't tell us that he had no experience with this. Guys, I will show you how horrendous these pillars were. I highlighted this from the beginning because Babaruwa and Myra always send me pictures at the end of the day, and I could see that they were wonky. I wasn't happy, but I highlighted it. But then builder was like, no, mama, picture, I'm and I'm like, even if it's a picture, I've asked for videos, these pillars are wonky. So eventually, the engineer's like, no, wait, you see, once we finish the brickwork on top of the pillars and everything, it will all look seamless. Is this seamless? Is this seamless? Guys, cement is expensive. At the time, I think we were paying $12 per bag, because there were some cement shortages at the time. So we were paying $12 per bag. And this steel is not cheap. To buy this steel, it wasn't cheap. And these pillars look horrendous once completed. The worst part of it is our builder was like, no, I'm squona. You can't see. It's actually very nice.
Nye photo baby. Mchazokutoreka kwakachena papera. Chakutoreka kwakachena. Bozoona kwakachena. Maybe nye picture. Bozi papa. Beam iro ripadenga rotori cobbling. Then rovraterwa ne first course yepakati change kabderwa ningiri cobbling.
I was so frustrated. I ended up firing the builder immediately. I ended up firing the project manager, because at the end of the day, he let us down big time. He let us down big time, and it cost us money. I mean, the engineer, the project manager said, "Oh, I will pay. I don't accept people's money when it comes to this project. Anyone that makes a mistake, I tend to correct it myself because people can be vindictive." So we decided to part ways with the builder and said, you know what, we'll find someone to fix it. We found this gentleman who was actually really amazing. He made the pillars look amazing. He had to remove the whole brickwork that had been done. Builder had also made a mistake in aligning the wall that's adjacent to the pillars. I'll show you a picture of the 3D, what it was supposed to look like, and I'm going to show you a picture of what the builder did. So I studied that 3D, so those mistakes I was able to pick up very much so. So my advice to you guys is that if you are building, you need to study your 3D. Anytime some work is done, you go back to your 3D, you look at it, you go back to your plan, you look at your plan, and then you go back to the pictures that you've been sent. It helps you identify mistakes. You've got to be attentive, otherwise you will get the surprise of your life when you get to Zimbabwe and see your property. Lucky enough, we didn't have to take them down. The guy who came and he sanded them. I don't know what he used, but basically he made them good, right? And he did the brickwork, he aligned the walls, and everything was perfect. And here is the result. That cost us an average of about, because he wanted labor of about 350. And then obviously the material, we had to buy more bricks and a little bit more cement for him to correct the mistake. So that was error number one. Error number two, guys, was the roofing. Now, I love Elvis. He is a nice guy. He knows his job. However, when the plan was done, the person who did the plan for our roofing was the engineer. Remember our engineer? My Ruva picked it up and she said, "Meme, she's like, is this supposed to look like this?" I'm like, "No, it's not. That doesn't look safe." So we ended up having to correct that mistake, and that was to get steel reinforcement, and that was expensive. I'm pretty sure that cost us an extra 800 to 1,000 to get sorted. The steel reinforcement means that our roof is now very, very stable and very strong. And I'm going to show you videos or pictures of this reinforcement, and I'm going to show you what it looked like before. Now, these mistakes could have been done by the architects, but then the engineer or our project manager was still involved in our project at the time. So guys, I really don't know who to pinpoint this issue with, because it was a systematic failure when it came to the construction of the roof. Our boys who did the roofing tried, but they highlighted that, listen, this plan, we followed the plan to the T, but then this timber is hanging basically, and this is not safe. So that's that. Mistake number 3 was the wiring for electricity. Now, we engaged an electrician that I had seen on Let's Build Our Homes Zimbabwe, or ZW. And this electrician, he'd always posted, do you know what? I saved his number. Like I always say, guys, I was very intentional when it came to the building of our home. And I was very intentional with who I involved, who I engaged, and so forth. So I had this guy's number saved in my phone for a very long time. So I knew that when I wanted electricity to be sorted, I would call him. And I'd seen him actually make a post about starting to wire or tube from the foundation, and he spoke about all the advantages, and I was like, wow, well, I like that. I like anything that's innovative, anything that's going to give me less stress. So I had this guy's number. So we engaged him when it was time for us to get our foundation done, because he would then have to do the tubing at foundation stage, right? Called him, did all of that, no problem. We were happy. We didn't know that we were going to encounter future issues, but later on, guys, I decided to engage another electrician, not because this guy had done anything at the time that I knew. I just felt like I wanted somebody local, and this guy's prices were quite hefty. So I thought, you know what, let me gauge someone new. That's when I met Kudzi, and I will always post Kudzi's numbers in the description box below, but I'll also post them in the video for all those that want to engage Kudzi. So Kudzi came and he's like, my tube esse, most of them, some of them have cracked, some of them have had cement, like cement pour inside them, or like some of the tubes had cement, so you can't actually pass any like wires in there. It was just a mess basically. So he had to start retubing the house from the ceiling, which is what most people do. But you know, Colleen, I thought I was just, you know, being very current, and like I said, I'd been following this electrician for a very long time. So that meant, guys, I had to rebuy everything again, but it wasn't as much as we required when we did the at the foundation stage. So anyway, Kuzi joined the project and he was like, listen, this is, you know, we'll have to redo this and that cost us money. So that was the third mistake. Fourth mistake was the plumbing. Our plumbing was guys, we had to start again, because it was pretty much same thing. But then I think with this one, there were certain things that were missing, certain things that, you know, the new plumber couldn't understand, and it was just a mess. So we had to correct that. I don't know much about plumbing, guys. All I know is that a lot of things had to be redone, and a lot of you know, new material had to be purchased, which cost us a lot of money. The fifth mistake that happened and we had to correct, guys, was with the tiling of our roof. Now with this one, I didn't have to pay. I think what happened was the engineer who done the roof plan hadn't really accommodated the fact that our wall plate has cobbling. So because of that cobbling, you're supposed to leave a little bit of room so that for the roofing, right? So when the guys who came to do the plastering you know, started work, they realized that mistake. So Elvis and the boys came and they had to remove some of the tiles and move them back, and in that some of the tiles were messed up, especially by the garage. So as you can see, I'm going to show you a picture. They were wonky. It wasn't nice. It was just horrible. And I remember we had gone to Zimbabwe that time and we saw it for ourselves, and they'd done a good job in the beginning, but because of that issue that needed to be resolved, they then messed up. And it wasn't their fault, guys, because when, you know, when Nana Elvis did the roofing, they did it to perfection. But I think when we had to ask them to come and take off a few tiles so that some of the timber would be moved back or something along those lines, it was a bit complicated for them.
Yeah, and muri kuona kuti isusu patiri kuadjasta ndi iri brandering iri redu rinenge rakaflasha nemudziro rekutanga iri tichiriendesa kumberi seapa pariri kuti hatichaoneki. Right, for example, anomuona kuti uku iro rikuoneka uko, but panapa totatorisa kumberi, ndozvavari kuedza kutaura. But havo vari kurowa bhozi makatarisa vanosota. Saka uko wanga wambomira nenyaya yekuti tiadjaste mabrandering edu, saka tiadjasta zvese kubvisa dese right round. Vari kuplaster.
Elvis could literally leave everything to come and sort out any mistakes that needed to be fixed, and I really appreciate that about them. I would highly recommend Elvis and his team. Are really good boys, very dedicated, and he was like part of the family, to be honest with you. So that's that. As a disclaimer, this is not my house, but this is some of the work that Elvis has done in the past. I just wanted to show you that actually he is a good roofer, but the issues with our roofing were a bit complicated. Now we've got a 4-meter door, guys. It's a very long door, and I understand that sometimes, you know, when you're doing a job for the first time, you can have you know, teething issues. But I had so much faith with the carpenter. So the carpenter we were using at the time, he'd done some doors for the cottage, he'd done the architraves for the cottage, so I kind of knew what type of work he does. So I was confident that he'll be able to achieve this. Now he did what he needed to do, fix the door, but the door was very heavy, so that meant at some point it could not hold, and so we were unable to open this door for a few months. Now we were looking for him to come and correct his mistake, to come and help us, but he was nowhere to be found, or he'd always give us excuses and so forth. So we ended up having to find someone else to come and have a look at the door and fix the issue. Now, this was a minor correction. Apparently the hinges were too small, so we needed to change the hinges. So it didn't cost us more than $100 to fix that, but that was something that gave me a headache. Our expectation is that we're on to the next thing. But you will always find that with this building, you are going to be having this back and forth, guys. It is painful. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I would actually cry because of disappointment. And I'll think, should I really be doing this? Because I'm taking so much from my family. I'm working extra hours. I'm not at home. I just want to finish this building. So it's very, very, very stressful to have to do these corrections, but they are necessary, because if you don't do them, for example, I said our door was not opening for 2 months. So even when we went to Zimbabwe this January in 2025, we were unable to actually see that door opening because it hadn't been fixed. And it was just quite sad. But now it's been fixed, and I'll show you a video of Barbara showing us the door opening. Next mistake was the door frames. Guys, we engaged a company that's, I don't know if it's well known, but a lot of people always reference them. Whenever I see people asking for people to do doors, they always reference this company. So they are the ones I engaged this time to do the our frames and our door frames and our architraves in the house. I would have probably gone back to the carpenter who did our 4-meter door and who did the cottage. However, this guy is nowhere to be found most of the time. Now, while he will get the work done, he's slow, always full of excuses about, oh, it's taken me this long, I'm doing this. So I couldn't be asked to give him the job for the main house. So I said, you know what, let me look for a professional company. I've seen pictures, I've seen people posting, I've seen people referencing them. Guys, honestly speaking, I was so disappointed, right? I waited, I think, about a week or so before they came and installed. And guys, I always pay people their money. It's never a case of I owe anyone money. Any contractor that's ever worked at my house knows that the moment I get the picture and I am told that, Colleen, this is what we've done, we finished our job, I literally send money at that moment, whether maneru, whether maskati. As long as I get a picture, I look at it, I see the videos, I'm satisfied, I am paying you your money. I never start a job without the money. I never do. I'll just wait until I have enough money. I will tell you that in the next 3-4 weeks, you can start a job. Now, I contact this company. The guy promises. I even show him pictures of what I want, right? Fine. In comes problem number one. He said to me he had one person that usually installs their door. He wants his own money, and then I pay them only for the frames and everything. They deliver the frames. I didn't really pay attention too much because normally Babarua will send me a video of anything that's delivered at the house. So I didn't pay too much attention to it up until they installed the first frames and I got videos. And I'm like, this is some cheap quality. What is this that you've put on the architraves? He starts telling me, oh, this is the best because it'll give a smooth, it'll look smooth. If we use the same timber, which is, I don't think they use teak or whatever, or it will crack, it'll do this. Give all kinds of excuses. Guys, I paid $60 per architrave per door. So I was so disappointed because when the cottage was done, they actually used proper timber, and I'll show you.
My apologies, these are not landscape pictures. However, we took these pictures before I knew I would start a channel. So you can see that the carpenter who did the cottage, because this is the cottage, did the architraves nicely. The doors were nice. This was all done from scratch. I showed him a design and he executed it very, very well, unlike this company. Also, bear in mind that we will paint these doors, but at the end of the day, it will be done when the house is being painted. So for now, this is what they look like.
Next mistake, guys, it is painful. It is absolutely painful because it has not been resolved and we don't even know what we're going to do. So we decided to have aluminium doors for the pantry, for our in-suites, and for the closets. We've got a shoe room and a closet. So we decided to have aluminium doors. I'd seen this design somewhere and I thought I wanted. I'm one person that is, I like promoting our Zim artisans. So I always like, looking for people who can do things from scratch. So that's where you see, even when you look at the door that we did, the 4-meter door, it was from scratch. So I like promoting our young guys because they could be doing other things. They could be doing drugs. So I'm always very supportive. So anyway, this guy, no fault of his own, I guess. I don't know if I say no fault of his own, or was it a miscalculation? I don't know. The doors came out perfectly, but we realized that we cannot tile. There's no room for tiles. So now we are like in a bit of a, like, what do we do? We're really stuck because we can't, at Kwansi basically, it's either those doors are moved upwards. I'm not sure. I don't know whether we'll be able to do that. I don't even know if we can cut the door shorter. I have no idea, guys. At this moment in time, I just said I'm focusing on other things. Again, I don't know what I would call this, avoidance, basically. I'm avoiding the idea because I know it's going to be an extra cost for us. We did speak to the gentleman who did the aluminium doors, and he said that he'd been told by the builder who was at the house how much space to leave between the door itself and the floor. And unfortunately, that means that whatever space or whatever he was told, it doesn't account for tiling. So I can't think of anything else I can do, guys. I really can't, apart from them starting again the doors or actually cutting them. I don't know what to do because I don't think it's feasible for us to try and remove the rough flooring and try and put a thinner layer. I don't think that's feasible. It doesn't sound like it would make sense. So we're stuck there. We're really, really stuck there. But I am avoiding having to deal with that because it's just an extra cost. I know it will be an extra cost. I have a soft spot for the contractors that work for us who genuinely make these mistakes and are willing to fix them. And this gentleman who did our aluminium doors, I think the doors are perfect. I think the doors look amazing. He did exactly what we wanted. It's just this aspect that was not accounted for. And so I feel like we'll come up with a solution that won't cost us too much. And that's what I'm praying for. And, I don't take lightly recommending anyone on my channel, but I feel like this guy is a good guy. And I think, he would do an amazing job because he does things from scratch. That's what's important. So you come up with a design, he will deliver. And the next mistake is by the veranda and the lounge, basically. There's a funny design there, guys. That mistake is causing leakages, or will cause leakages whenever it rains. There's no water seeping into the house as we speak. However, potentially, had Babarua not quickly identified that there was water, we mitigated it with something temporary. So this is something that's going to be fixed. It's very difficult for me to explain, but I will explain in the video, and I will highlight the areas that highlight on that particular video, because if I try and describe it now, you won't understand it. So I will highlight it in the video following.
So the area I've marked there, that whole length of the veranda, that area actually, we had put an internal gutter, and it seems like that internal gutter is not strong enough. So when it rains, water collects in that area and then it ends up seeping into the lounge. So it's another area that we have to fix, guys. It's one area that we have to fix. Otherwise, our ceiling will be messed up.
Honestly speaking, guys, sometimes I think, why? But I guess, some people who have been through this journey maybe may attest to the struggles of trying to attain or trying to build in Zimbabwe while you're not there. It's just a hustle. But I feel like some of the mistakes are fixable, but costly. I don't really know. I think some people will call construction companies to do things for them and all of that. I think it's wise, but anyone can make mistakes, guys. I've seen construction companies mess up big time as well. So, guys, Ajna formula, basically. Ajina formula. Shekuvaka, Ajina formula. There is absolutely no formula to this because it's human error. When we renovated our UK home, guys, we thought we'd found good contractors. And after they finished the job, they were unwilling to fix their mistakes, guys. Murungu agaoma. They were unwilling to fix the mistakes. And even when I did say, listen, this is, you've messed up here and there, they were unwilling. I think he even gave an excuse that the material that the toilets that you bought are not of good quality and all of this nonsense. Guys, honestly, I felt so insulted. This UK company was actually recommended by a lot of people in the group. There's a group for the village where we live. So that's where I picked up. I had actually posted on the village group to ask if there are any contractors that they knew who could renovate our bathroom. So honestly speaking, after paying labor of almost £7,000, excluding material, I was so disappointed with the work they did. And, they don't even paint, guys. They didn't even paint. I had to do the painting for the bathroom. Until this day, I look at my bathroom like they're things that people wouldn't pick up, but I know I can pick up. So it's not just Zimbabwe, guys. Even in England, I was very disappointed. It just kind of stopped me from renovating this house. I think we did the bare minimum. I think the only contractor who did a good job is the guy who did this closet. He's the only contractor who managed to actually do a nice job. But even the guys who did the flooring for this room, it's crazy, guys. It's absolutely crazy that you have to put up with this when you're paying top back for this. Me highlighting these problems is not to discourage anyone. I don't want to discourage anybody from starting their journey. I just wanted to let you know that sometimes mistakes are going to happen and that they will cost you a little bit of money. I feel like to mitigate these issues, you need to be really attentive and also be careful with which contractors you use. It's very important that you've actually seen some of the work that they do. Some of the guys that I picked were from Let's Build Our Homes, ZW. Nowadays, I actually look for contractors based on recommendation, or if I get some references. If I find them online, I just get references just to confirm that they know what they're doing. But human error, guys, is just going to be an aspect, and you just pray that you don't have to encounter so many issues, because you will encounter issues and you will have to fix them if you want to be able to live in your property. Now, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the support with this channel. If you feel welcome, please do press subscribe or like the video, guys, so we can get more traction on this channel. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, and I wish you guys a happy week. I will be back with a video, guys, of me packing the things I'm sending to Zimbabwe, and I'll be showing you each and everything in those boxes or bags. I'm not sure what I'm gonna send. I think I'm probably gonna use suitcases, that the hard shell suitcases, because you can't really mess up with that one. It's nice and snug and secure in comparison to boxes, because some of the lights that we'll be sending actually have glass. So I'm going to just risk putting in the suitcase and see if they will arrive. I'll package them nicely and I will show you how I have done that. I'm still waiting for deliveries for the spotlights or downlights, whatever you call them. I'm still waiting for some of the not chandeliers, but lights, outdoor lights. We ordered these and they've not arrived, so I'm unable to send the consignment, or I'm unable to send the mixers. I'm unable to send anything, the extra sockets that were requested by the electrician. I'm waiting for these things so I can send them all together. So I am going to do another episode where I'm going to show you what's in the suitcase, and I'm going to take you with me when I go and get these things, when I go take these things to Leicester, and I'll show you who we do our shipping with, so that if you want to ship your things to Zimbabwe, you can use that company. We've used them before several times, so we'll be happy to share that with you. So till the next episode, guys, I will see you then. Bye.